Hey, Gales and guys, it's Christopher Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com and also from MakingComicStudios.com, which is not found anyplace. Hey, a little story. A while back, I had some major viruses happening on my host. It was a whole mess. So what I did is I backed everything up on my external hard drive. I backed up all the databases, downloaded them. I backed up all the files, downloaded them. I wiped this sucker clean. I just deleted everything. And then, sure enough, in the past year, and I have other videos that show how to do all this. I'm not going to get into it because that's not what the point of the video. But slowly but surely, I've been adding these back on. And today I wanted to add back on Making Comics Studios. So I just did this. I just did make this folder, and I did upload the old files onto here. So I'll show you how long ago it's been. Go here. So here's my databases that I backed up, and here's my host monster accounts that I backed up. So as you see, it was early last year that I did it around this time. It was March. So what I did is I went into my Making Comics folder. So here's my Making Comics. Where are we at here? So there's my Making Comics. And through FTTP, and I have other videos online to show you how to do all this stuff. I'm just giving you some back information. So I just drag this over and I let it upload. Okay, so there's no database in place in my PHP admin. It's not there yet. So that's the point of this video, is to the fact that I want to get it back up there. I want to get my site running again, and I don't want it to say not found. Now, I dragged over my config file, which you would do because that's where your login and password for your database is, and that shows your website, your WordPress website, to the fact that that's where the database is drawing from. That's where it's grabbing that information. So I'll open the config file for you here. And again, this is just background information, just to give you a heads up on what I'm trying to do here. So it's got this Word 8 database going on. I don't want it to be called Word 8. This website's called Making Comics Studios. I want it to be like MCS or Making Comics or something to that effect. I'd probably just do MCS as a Making Comics Studios. So I'm going to change the name of the database and get everything working again and change all the information on the config file. So that's basically what this tutorial is about. So that's the back information. So what I'm going to do is get into my hosting. So in my particular case, it's HostMonster Portal, or hostmonster.com is where I get my service from, where everything's hosted and I get all my domain names from. You're going to have a different one if you don't have HostMonster, obviously. And what you want to do is go to cPanel. So I'm going to go to cPanel right now. And then if you go down to databases, here, I'll open this first. This is my phpMyAdmin. Now, there's no, I got to go back to my databases now. So you can see there's no Word 8 there, so it's got nothing to draw from. So we want it to draw from it, but I don't want to draw from it from that particular name. So we got to add this database in. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to MySQL Service Databases. Hang on a second, I'm trying to rethink how to do this. So we want to create a new database, and I want to call it MCS for Making Comics Studios. And as you can see, here's my other databases that I use. So here I'm going to create that database. Okay, then I'm going to go back. And then I'm going to assign, there's MCS right there. So I don't have a privileged user on there yet. This is where you can create your privileged user. You just put it in, put the password in, and it pops up down here. So basically, I just want to go, I have to remember how to do this now. There we go. I want to add Chris to that database. because I'm the admin of all the databases, all the privileges, changes, and then it should pop up. When I go back where my database is, I should be showing there now. So there I am right there on my database. Okay, so we'll go back to this, and if I refresh, go back to phpMyAdmin, and now I open up there. There's my MCS database right there. So if I go to databases, and then I go to MCS, and you're not going to see any tables at all. No tables whatsoever. So what I want to do is import the old database into my new existing database. So I'm going to hit import, and I'm going to find that that database back on my external hard drive, and there it is right there. And then it's going to import. Ideally, it's going to import all the fields. Okay, so I have imported all these fields now into my MCS database. So now what I want to do is, let me go back here, and I'll show you all the tables that are there now. So at this point, what I want to do is just change the data information in my config file. So I'm FTPing. You can go in there or go into your cPanel and go into the files that way. But however you're doing it, I'm just going to drag my config file over to my desktop, which I already did. It's right there. That's the config file for this particular website. So I'm going to open that up. I'll show you my database name and username because it doesn't matter because it's all going to change. And so what I'll do is get my database name. Oops, I'm all over the place here. Get my database name, which is going to be that. I'm going to copy that. And that's going to go right there. All right. And then I'm going to get my username, which is going to be back here, which is just the one user. And then that's where you can change the password if you need to. I know my password. So I'm going to finish up here, and I'll put that in. Then I'm going to put my password in. So once that's done, we'll continue. And here we go, live again after about a year is makingcomicstudios.com. Once you're done with the config PHP file, you're just going to drag it back over here and override the other one once you've got the new database name in there and if you changed your username and your password for that. Make sure that's all in there and save it and drag it over. And then the only issues that I had where I was having issues as far as because it's been a year, and I'm putting in a year-old WordPress. What am I trying to say? WordPress service, which was probably 10 versions ago. What I did is I downloaded the new version of WordPress and unpacked it and just dragged it in and overrode everything. It's only going to override the WordPress applications. It's not going to override everything. It's just the files that are in the WordPress zip, right? So, and that's perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about there. And one other thing, if you're having issues, and to the fact that each install of WordPress, each update, they don't always use the same files. So what I would suggest is get WordFence. Once you're up and running, install the WordFence plugin and do a scan. And it will scan through and it will tell you which files aren't necessary anymore. And it will give you a list and you can just go right down through them and delete them and delete them and delete them. And it will also scan for any issues, any any issues as far as someone trying to do scummy things to your account. Another thing that I did, also the plugins were a year old. So I went in and I did this to plugins. So if you just put a dash, if you rename, you put a dash there, it will disable all the plugins. So that's another issue I was having. I couldn't get online because I have a bad plugin here. So I have to go through each one to see what's bad. And I just created a new directory called plugins. And then I put in these two. So these are the first two plugins that I'm using fresh and new. And I'll have to go through these and see what the bad plugin was and see if I need to update them or if I even need them anymore. That's the only issues that I had. So I hope you got something out of this. Yeah, I would highly recommend WordFence. Any malicious attacks, that's the word I was trying to think of. Any malicious attacks, any malicious coding on your site, it's going to find it and it's going to help you abolish it. So that's about it, gals and guys. Pretty simple as far as how to do that. Just to name your server something. It's better than, server number 8. I don't know what the fuck server number 8 was. Now I know it's MCS, so Making Comic Studios. I'll know what it is for next time. All right, guys and gals and guys, if you have any questions, please put them down below. I'm sure I didn't answer all of them, but if there is a question you have, perhaps I can answer that question for you. And then anything that you want explained, a video that you need explained, maybe further explanation, I'm more than happy to have ideas for new videos. I'm always looking for those. I appreciate you as always. If you could please subscribe and share and like and hit the bell for updates and all that good stuff, I would most appreciate it. And I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch you later. Peace out. See ya.